Welcome back, everyone. We're back again doing another football kind of video. Um, I just after seeing the whole thing going on with Man United, them having about five first team injuries, and they have a good few amount of games coming up. They have Crystal Palace on Wednesday, I believe. So today, then Wolves, and then they're going up against PSG in their second leg of the Champions League. Um, I was thinking in my head about what kind of team they're going to put out, and I came up with the idea of what starting 11 they're going to run against specifically Crystal Palace, and then how they can build up into the other games. Um, the formation I've gone with for the team is the standard kind of 4-3-3 that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been running, with four defenders, one holding midfielder, two kind of box to box or more attacking creative midfielders, two wingers, and a striker. I know he's been alternating it with a diamond, but the diamond's been more for the bigger teams, so I'm sticking with the 4-3-3 today. In the in So it's going to be like standard kind of setup. In goal, as per usual, David De Gea. The fullback, I've decided to go right back for Delo over Lex Young. Young's been shit, and Delo is a much better option, I think, just for the pressing forward, and eventually he's going to come good. He just needs the game time under his belt to develop more. And going up against a team like Crystal Palace could be a good opportunity. They're not as offensively sound. I know they did put four past Leicester last week or the week before, but I don't think they're going to have as much creative firings against Man United, especially since they are so attack heavy at the moment, that they're going to be sitting back and hoping to capitalize on the counter. But that being said, if they're going to be pressed back, they'll allow space for like the low to cross into the box and create some opportunities. At right centre back, we have Bailly. He's just arguably best defender, all out and out in kind of every facet best defender. Informed defender would be Lindelof, who is his partner at left back or left centre half, because he's there because of every reasons. I'm putting him there because I know he's not really good at the old kind of standard English centre or centre forwards, marking like Randy Carroll's, those big target men. But Crystal Palace don't really have him. I know you could say Schlupp is one, but he's more of a 5'10"ish, so they kind of play it on the ground. They do have Zaha, so he just runs into space and behind. So having a player who likes to jut in at angles across the pitch to coming in rather than running wide and crossing it. So it'd be interesting to see Lindelof deal with him, but I think he should be able to hold him off fairly well. At left back, we have Shaw, as per usual. He's going to be a regular starter in this team. I also saw that I think I remember if it was Man United announced or Sky Sports announced that Jimmy Garner, Tahith Chong, and I can't remember who the other one was. Angel Gomez was going on the team bus to travel to Crystal Palace. So in my team, I would like to put Jimmy Garner in defensive midfield, but I think it's too soon for him to be slotting into that role just yet. Possibly he could come on at halftime to replace a player who I have further up the pitch, and slot in CDM and move the guy who's currently there up into centre mid, or possibly do two holding midfielders. But for the moment, I have McTominay there. He played pretty well against Liverpool. He wasn't amazing overall, but I think against the Crystal Palace side, he should do pretty well. Beside him is Pogba to the left, in his usual position. I have a feeling that Pogba's probably not going to play a full 90 minutes. He'll probably play 45, as long as say if they got 1 or 2-0 up, then they'll probably take him off. Maybe throw Pereira in the left center mid spot, just be the creative, kind of get the creator out of him in that role, and just see the game off. Just keep him fit for possibly not start him against Wolves, or maybe keep him do the same thing 45 minutes and then keep him fit for the PSG game. I'm not too sure, but I imagine they're going to want to be looking to rest him as much as possible because they have so many injuries, and he's been one of the players who played the most as well, along with the other lads who got injured. And then beside him I have Fred, who's a bit of a surprising choice. I know he's not been picked at all, but I was thinking that if you're going to be playing the low, and I'm also just going to jump ahead here. That and the right hand side for right winger, I'm playing Pereira. I'm thinking putting Fred at right centre mid. Possibly there could be like a language barrier for him, that whenever they're playing that he's just not listening or doesn't know what the hell's going on, is running around like headless chicken. But having a right hand side where he's going to be predominantly, and they could be able to tell him get in position here, get in position there, because they'll have the whole language thing down between the three of them, and they'll be able to kind of coordinate what they're wanting to do, which could be interesting, seeing how everything goes. I assume that's not really the reason why Fred hasn't settled in, but it'd be interesting if he did start, because likes of Matic is injured, Matic, Herrera, I can't remember if I said Herrera already, but Jimmy Garner's too young to be starting, I think, in centre mid in that ball-winning midfielder role, so having McTominay just behind him, and he's McTominay's good, but he's not that kind of dogged player who's going to track, cover everyone and win the ball back. He's going to be the guy who's going to be shuttling across, winning the ball back, and just playing across to Pogba or the full-backs or something, and just redistributing it. I think Fred's going to be the dogged player who's going to win the ball back higher up the pitch and put pressure on the other CDMs and stuff, allowing Pogba to create a bit more and find some space. So on the right we have Pereira. I was going to play him in centre mid, but there isn't really any good options for the right mid spot. And also the reason why I chose him for the low is because if you play like a player who's more a central oriented player, they tend to drift a bit, which would cause more exposure to the fullback being overlapped and everything, which would be pretty bad. Which is why Young's usually picked, because he doesn't go as far up, so he knows he won't get overlapped. If he does, he has enough space to track back to, but he doesn't really do it anyways. But having the low there, he's not as experienced, so having a more player who's more natural on the right hand side with the likes of your Pereira, he's going to be creating that width, so he's not going to be going inside and leaving his fullback, allowing the overlap. So kind of killing two birds with one stone kind of situation. And then on the left hand side I have Chong. I imagine he's definitely going to play some part in this game, either off the bench or starting, but I think he probably will start as a left winger. I'd love to see Greenwood in this 11, but I can't see him starting anytime soon. I'd say he's probably not going to, if they're going to give him a chance, it's probably going to be the Champions League, I'd imagine. Just be, I don't know, or maybe at home, where he's in a more inviting or nurturing environment, somewhere where he's at home, so he's not going to be thrown out under the bus at 17 years old and just like petrified. But yeah, Chong on the left hand side with Shaw, and I think Chong will be really good over there, because if you played him on the right, there's two inexperienced players, and having Pogba and Shaw behind him, they can kind of go through the gears with him in the game and try to tell him where to be, how to play, as one would do. Just because you don't want to completely throw him under the bus. Pereira is experienced enough to know where to be, how to do it, and support his fullback, but Chong might be a little bit too inexperienced to do it. Just at this level anyways, of course not like the under 23s and 19s levels, but I think the that he's going to be a little bit not as experienced with covering his fullback on this higher level, because the fullbacks are going to be looking to overlap and lots of damage. And then up top, I was contemplating whether to put Lukaku or Sanchez in. Personally, they're both terrible. I wouldn't, if I could have Greenwood, I would put him in, but I don't think he's going to start. He's still too raw and too young yet. I think he might get it before the end of the season, but not today, or whenever this game is. I'm pretty sure it's today. But I decided to put Sanchez in just because Lukaku's been so bad that maybe just giving him a complete drop from the team for a good couple of weeks might do it for him. And Sanchez has been pretty piss poor when he comes off the bench, so maybe starting him might do something good. And also bringing Lukaku on at the second half as a kind of target man, just playing him, or advanced forward kind of role, playing him up top and just against the running down the clock and trying to just get the last minute goal. Possibly could work against Palace, but I'm not too sure. You never know. I think this will definitely be the first game for a tester against Crystal Palace for likes of Garner, Gomez, stuff like that. Gomez could easily come on at right wing or left wing partway through the game. I don't think he's going to start because he's just, he's not crazily slow, but he's not amazingly quick to be a kind of wide winger. He's more of what would be an ideal maybe like a Pirlo. He dictates the pace of the game, at least with under 23s, but I can't imagine him doing that at senior level. So he could move around a bit, but he's still kind of more of a static player rather than a fluid moving. So he better in the second half at some stage, possibly maybe in a holding midfield. Maybe not holding midfield, but like that deep lying playmaker, just distributing the balls, making sure everyone gets the right passes. But it's too early from the start in the start of the game. But if they go 2 or 3-0 up, obviously it's fine to bring him on because they have that bit of protection from being 2 or 3-0 up. So that could work as well. But this is my starting 11 anyways for against Crystal Palace. I can't imagine it changing too much for the Wolves game. Possibly like dropping Fred for Garner and then moving McTominay up to Fred's spot. Maybe stuff like that just to give the players a bit more first team action. I know Wolves lost to Leicester, but that's probably more of a showboating things like we sacked our manager, but we're not a shit team in all. Which will be pretty interesting with what's his name, Rodgers being announced as their new manager. See what he does with them, but yeah, should end it there. I guess this is my team for that. I hope United play. I would love to see Delop and Pereira play, anyways, both on that right hand side. Fred, I could take or leave, but I think he will start over the likes of some of the others. But yeah, sure, that'll be that. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.